Hey now, it's Little Paulette without the gang, and I am back again with Our Kind of People, Season 1, Episode 3, Hot Links and Red Drinks, Recap, Part 4. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and comment once you hear something you want to comment about. And as always, I'm asking you guys to let me know what you think about me, about the show, about the videos, or whatever. Let me know. I don't give a damn what it is. Talk about it, whatever, in the comments, and I will respond. Okay? Let's get right back into part 4. And Tyree and Angela, they are dressed. It looks like they're going to the docks. And, oh, I forgot to tell you that Nikki had ran away. Like, she got scared and ran away. I guess she must have had a flashback of that fight last time. I thought she was going to get in trouble from her mother. But anyway, Angela and Tyree are at the docks, and looks like Tyree has it set up like a private date. She was like, "Where you got me at, Negro?" And they got violins playing, and it's set up all nice and romantic. And he tells her that he's trying to seal some deal. He hasn't sealed it yet, but he's hoping that everything goes through soon. So he plans on pitching this to Teddy for that stadium that I told you about in probably my very first video that Teddy's trying to build. He's saying that he wants his design to be like this, open air, I guess with the water and stuff. And he says, imagine this inside of a stadium. So he says it's his dream project, and he's going to pitch it to Teddy, and he hopes that everything goes through. We got our fingers crossed for you, Tyree. We hope everything works out for you, bro. Tyree says he wants to create meaningful spaces for us, by us. He's like the perfect guy. I gotta stop. I'm sorry, I'm rubbing my knees because I'm chilly. He is like very much like Angela in that sense where he wants to give back to the community. He said meaningful commercial spaces by us. And Angela's like, I love that. I have the same fire. Where you get your fire from? And Tyree is so dope. He's so much like Angela in that same sense. He said he just want to stand on his own, over in Edgartown. He's the man. I guess it's a less influential black town. And he says, but here I'm just the bodyguard's son who took a handout, because, Teddy helped raise him after his father was killed. He said he want to step out of the Franklin shadow, And Angela's like, well, if I'm going to be spending time in your VIP box, I got to do some thinking. And he said, what you want to order? And she like, for starters, and she gives him a kiss. They are so cute together. I love them. Nikki's like, I'm not this girl. And Taylor's like, what girl? And she's like, the one that get in fights at parties. Because, that colorism thing just triggered her. But she was like, that gang judging people by the shades of color of their skin, they might as well have did the brown paper bag test at the door. Like, come on, it's 2020. It was 2021 then. Nikki is like, this is why I got into that fight last year for the same thing. My grandmother had just died, and I wasn't coping with it, And they started this mess, and this is what happened. And somebody posted a video of the fight earlier today. Nikki said she didn't even know anybody had recorded the fight. And now she just like angry black girl for life. You know how that is. Like, you can have a fight in school. You could be just defending yourself. And then every time something happened, the teacher act like you the one that started it. Even though you've been telling them every day that this girl been messing with you, they ain't do nothing. Because they be like, oh, I didn't see it. But then when you hit them back, then the teacher magically see it. Yeah, that type of bull. So Taylor is like, that's not the girl I met or the girl that I want to get to know. She was like, I got mistakes of my own to take back. And Nikki's looking at her like, what? And she's like, I lied about Lauren pushing me off that yacht. She ain't lied. She was like, I was drunk, so I obviously don't know what happened. But that's what happened. I could bet my draws on it. Lauren pushed her off that yacht. But she don't really know because she was drunk. Sound like some Meg Thee Stallion stuff, huh? We'll see. And Nikki was like, that's your boo. And she was like, you could still tell the truth, until it was looking like she was denying it. She was like, I already saw the pictures. She was like, you could tell the truth, or you could let it fester into trauma like me, and you be at a party one night and you be beating up somebody. And Taylor like kind of smiles, swinging on bitches and grabbing on the cognac. They crazy. Yeah, so it cuts to Leah outside her kid's room, and they in there talking ish about them, and Raymond comes behind her and says, the last time I was creeping outside the kids' room, I learned I was creepy. And they start walking away, and they laughing and holding hands. And Leah's like, I'm glad they're a team, even if it is just to drag us. And she said, because I never had that, being an only child. And then Raymond starts talking about how it was with him growing up, and she's like, I never wanted a sibling. And he's like, man, you just don't know. And she was like, I learned when I was 9 that affection can be turned off just like that. She was like, my father sent my mother away and Angela's mother. Way back, y'all. Way back. Raymond is looking at her like, what? He was like, she was his mistress. Raymond, Angela is my half-sister. And he's like, so what does she want? And then Leah says, I don't know. And she was like, and I offered her a lot of money. And he was like, oh, that's why you dislike her. She's making you do something you hate. She's making you wait and see. Ooh, way back. Way back, y'all. Ooh, next thing you know, you see a car in the dark in the bushes or some woods or something. It's Aunt Piggy with a map in the car. And then you see this big black dude come on the side of the car. She turned around like, who the hell are you? And then the passenger door opened, and it's Teddy Franklin. Honey, she busts out laughing in his face. He was like, I ain't think you was foolish enough to come out here. She said, you bought a piece of land after me and Darius got into our little problems, or whatever she called it, back in 1984. And he was like, oh, you mean when you murdered him or you killed him? Way back. So now we know why Aunt Piggy was looking all scared, because Teddy Franklin got a body on her. This ninja gonna tell her some story about some clover birds that come out there seasonally, and he bought up all the land around, I guess, where Darius supposed to be buried at. And he said they stubborn. No, they only come seasonally, and they leave. And just like them, he want Angela to leave. And he said, like I told you last night. And she said, like I told you, Angela is as stubborn as a tick. She ain't leaving, or whatever. And she was like, now, is he out here or not? And he was like, you called my bluff, I called yours now, or something like that. Or you going to have to call mine again. I guess you're going to have to find him, basically, he's saying. No, he full of it. Next thing you know, Nikki, I guess she called herself sneaking back in the house, but Angela's sitting in her room. She like, Nikki or Nicole, Aisha, Vaughn, or whatever her name is. You know when your mother call your whole name, you in trouble, right? Angela was like, give me your phone. She gave her phone. She said, I'm deleting social media and I'm putting a tracking app on your phone. Then she saw the video of her fighting, and she was like, Mom, please don't play it. Please don't play it. Of course, Angela hit play. And then you hear the girl saying, you looking like a skillet. And she was like, a what or something? And she was like, a skillet, greasy or some shit like that. And then Angela was like, is that what she called you? And Nikki was like, no. That's what she called Mama Eva when she came to visit for Parents Week. So she called her grandmother that right after her grandmother died. So that's why Nikki beat that ass. And Angela was like, why you didn't tell me? And Nikki was like, because me and you don't talk like that. I know you trying and everything, but, like, I miss her. I miss having family around. I miss, like, I guess she missed where she come from in Boston. She said her grandmother was her best friend. And, shit, most kids' grandmas are their best friends. At least up to a certain age. I'm sure that she probably told her grandmother things that she couldn't tell her mother, just like my granddaughter does. Now Angela's feeling guilty. She's talking to Piggy about how she didn't see Nikki's pain. She just saw her acting up and that she's been being selfish. And of course, Piggy tells her, everything you've been doing been for Nikki. You just got to work smarter and not harder. Angela says she's going to get her address and she's going to sneak into that party. That green on the black, whatever it's called, that Leah's having tonight for Juneteenth. And she about to get in there and see the one person over her pay grade, Teddy. Angela snuck in that party. The first person she saw was Teddy. Teddy saw her. He walked over to like out of the party way because it's outside. Angela met him over there. I'm losing my voice, guys. Angela met him over there and he said he wasn't prepared to meet her that day. And she said, I wasn't prepared to ask for what I wanted. And he was like, so there is something that you want? And she was like, yep, a place in the incubator program for my business. She said, I know you can pull that string. And then he was like, she's more complex than the cognac he had in his hand. And he was like, Leah oversees that program. I can't overstep. And she was like, so no. So no. And he was like, just looking at her. And she was like, well, it's the same as the nothing you've always offered. Next thing you know, Leah's son Quincy comes up and was like, Grandpa, it's Nana. So that means Mama Rose is there. You know what's about to go down. And Mama Rose is cutting up. She's like grabbing all over the place, telling Leah, let me go. I just want to get a rose for my daughter. Leah is her daughter. And Leah's daughter, Lauren, is like, what's wrong with her? And Leah's like, oh, she's just having a manic episode. Teddy comes running, like, what's wrong? And she's snatching all away, like trying to snatch the roses away and stuff. She really don't recognize Leah. Next thing you know, Angela comes walking up and Mama Rose turns around and says, Leah, come quick. She was like something about take all these roses away, that's too pink or something. And Leah had the look of horror on her face. She turned around and said, Mama, I'm your daughter. And you know what Mama Rose said? You are not my daughter. To go way back for that, y'all. But I'm losing my voice, so I gotta hurry up. Leah gonna turn around to Angela. What did you do to my mother? Why does she think you're me? Angela was like, I don't know. And she grabbed her. She said, get your goddamn hands off of me. You're not my goddamn daughter. And she snatches her hand away. She knocks over the whole big display of flowers. And Mama Rose started yelling, help. And Lauren's all apologizing because she snuck and brought her and shit. And Leah bends down to her mother and said, it's okay, Mommy. They put her in a wheelchair. And she snatched Leah's hands off her knees. And she said, get your hands off me. You're not my goddamn daughter. And then Leah said, I am your damn daughter. Leah's bitch ass gonna point at Angela and say, that woman is not your daughter. That is Daddy's bastard from his affair with a maid. Angela just looked at her and then she turned around and walked away. And Mama Rose is like, why would she be here? To embarrass me? Everybody looking at Angela. See, Leah's a bitch. And Leah gonna jump in front of her and go say, oh, no. You don't get to run away from this. Like, Angela is the one that had the affair with her father. Angela is the product of the affair. She doesn't have anything to do with it. Ooh, I wish Angela was my friend. Because word is on. Woo! So they ushered everybody out, obviously. And the whole family, including Angela, is still there all together by the water. And Leah's like, you humiliated all of us all because you couldn't keep your penis in your pants. And her dad was like, it's all because you couldn't keep your emotions in check. If you want to blame somebody, let's be honest. Place the blame on yourself because you was mad because your mother was saying she was her daughter and not you. And that's why you did it. Way back. And Raymond come up, watch how you talking to my wife. He said, well, your wife made this mess and she needs to fix it. He said something like, whatever, you need to fix it. And Leah sees Teddy's hand shaking like crazy, and he whispers to her, "I'm not going to tell you this no more, Leah. Handle it." And Angela's standing behind him, and she said, "You know, my mama used to say, you grab a bull by the horns, not by the butt." And you know, Leah going to say, "Homespun ghetto wisdom." She better be glad. If Angela was as ghetto as she said she was, she would have been beat that ass. And Angela says that if we present as a family, the gossip columns, they can't really have a field day with something that's not a secret anymore. Let's just get on the stage and present and say, you know, this is my sister, this is my daughter. It is what it is. So yeah, so Teddy welcomes her into the family on stage and all of that. Angela takes the opportunity to say thank you and thank you for letting me into the incubator program. Then it cuts to Tyree and Teddy sitting in the office with a tablet in his hand, showing that he put cameras in Angela's place so Teddy can see everything that's going on behind Angela's back in her place. But he feeling kind of guilty, and he's like, Angela's not really the problem. And Teddy is like, well, she worked her way into my company, so I need to see if that's her only agenda. Like, that's the reason why you already had the cameras in there. Yeah, so Teddy is talking junk about it was the biggest mistake of his life getting involved with the help. And Tyree was like, half of my family is the help. Like, what is you talking about? So that reflection starts really, you know, glaring at Leah, and she starts to see that she is her father and she's treating Lauren, you know, just like her father treats her, being demanding and just not giving her a break with anything. And then it cuts to Nikki and Angela, and Nikki is talking about how it was so crazy to see her father claim her, you know, in front of everybody. And a lot of times she be thinking like that, you know, like with her social media, that her father might be looking at her social media and he might know it's her, you know, like he might look at her eyes and be like, oh, this little girl got my eyes, you know, this might be my daughter. The next thing you know, they show Nikki at a jail. Yeah, so it's Angela at the jail, you know, visiting, and they don't say who it is, but she says it's time, you know, it's time for her to meet her father. And of course, it goes off like that. And I hope you guys could hear me earlier in this thing, because sometimes this might be funny, or I might be covering it and not notice it. But please like, comment, and subscribe, because I'm going to end it here. This is the end of of hot links and red drinks. So y'all stay tuned for episode 4. It'll be coming out soon. Thank you guys so much. And again, have a blessed night.